Hello and welcome to our next episode of Raiders of the Lost Archive, the Mitford podcast. We are absolutely thrilled to have you joining us at our virtual campfire again, as we're about to blow the dust off the insane stories of the Mitfords.
We guarantee the most in-depth coverage on the Mitford sisters available anywhere on the internet here at Raiders of the Lost Archive. So pop on those headphones and let's get ready to raid the Lost Archive.
Brilliant.
So what's on for today?
We have a fantastic episode for you. So because we are 1 week away from the release of the first episode of Outrageous, the series about the Mitfords, and we will look at the teaser and the trailer that they have released so far, and we will talk about the production team and crew, the cast. We will look at the teaser and trailer itself and sort of dissect that a little bit for you.
We will talk about what's in the trailer, what's not in the trailer, and what to expect from what we see. And then, as a special treat, Judith has been to the London premiere of the first episode yesterday, and there was a question and answer part. So she has all the freshest information that is not available out there for normal people who are not invited to special screenings. So I'm excited to hear about what you have heard and seen yesterday.
Lynn doesn't know all of that yet, so stay tuned.
No.
I'll reveal a lot more at the end of this episode. All right, let's crack on.
Let's get right in. So, what is the show based on? Outrageous. Shall I start with the book?
Yes, start with the book. Show us
Probably.
the book.
So,
show us the book.
The book. The show is based on the book. It's called The Sisters, the Saga of the Mitford Family. This is the book written by Mary S. Lovell. It's 20-ish years old. It has two titles actually. The American title I think was The Mitford Girls. This is the American title. Anyway, there are two titles. This is the one that I have, and this is the
the Mitford Bible,
the most common, the most common book to know. There are many others, but this is one that covers all the Mitfords and all the
Mitford sisters.
So this is what we know. We know that filming underwent last year. There are 6 episodes to be released as a miniseries by Britbox in the UK and the US. I think these are the only markets that they distribute.
I think Australia and New Zealand probably as well. And there are rumors about that Britbox might be branching out into India.
Okay. I know that the distribution rights, Britbox has a cooperation with the BBC. So the BBC will distribute in other countries as well, which for Germany probably means the public broadcasting programs, which is what we've seen in the past, but we don't know yet. There is, so we will see. We know that the show opens in the year 1931.
Yeah.
So, and this is basically all information that I found on the internet about.
What I know already is that the first season ends in 1936.
Okay, that's a lot of ground to cover.
Yeah.
In 6 episodes only. That's a lot.
6, so it's 5 years to cover and 6 personalities.
Yes, 6 big personalities. So then, shall we talk about the production team a little?
Yes, yeah.
So let me get my notes. So we know that there are 2 directors. And each one directed 3 of the episodes. One of the directors is Ellie Hayden, who I did not know was a director. I know her as an actress. She played in the series Harlots. I don't know if you've seen that.
I haven't.
No. It was good. I liked it. It's about prostitutes in England in the 1800s. Samantha Morton is in it, Liv Tyler, Leslie Manville, so some big names. it's very entertaining. So I know her from that. I did not know she was the director. And the other 3 episodes were directed by Joss Agnew. I have not heard of him. I do not know. He directed some episodes of Outlander. He did many TV shows. He did some Law and Order. He did many British TV shows.
They were both present yesterday at the special UK, like the London premiere, at the special screening yesterday night.
The script was for all episodes was written by Sarah Williams. She also wrote the screenplay for Becoming Jane. This is something that many people have heard of. It was filmed with Anne Hathaway and I think, what's his name? He's really James McAvoy. Yeah, hero of the working class, by the way. So she wrote that, and I did not watch any of the other things she wrote. So
yeah, she was present at the London premiere as well yesterday.
Okay, so you will give us a little more info about her later.
From what I know.
Alrighty. So this is the production main team.
There was one more person present yesterday night. His name is. Oh, hang on. Let me look up his first name again. Matthew Mosley.
That's a name I've heard before.
Yeah. I'll reveal more about him later after we've discussed all the trailers.
May I guess who is he related to?
Maybe he could have not been.
Or is it a coincidence? I do not think.
Let me tell you this much: there is a coincidence to a certain degree.
Okay, I'm
so he was there yesterday, and Joss Agnew was present yesterday as well.
Okay. So shall we talk about the cast a little?
Yeah. Bessie Carter wasn't there yesterday. She's probably the most prominent figure of the cast.
Yes, she's also the most prominent in the trailer and teaser. Bessie Carter plays Nancy. Many people will know her from Bridgerton. I know her from Bridgerton. She played Prudence Featherington, which is a name that I found very fitting for her character. She is memorable. Yeah, I'd say.
Yeah,
in that series.
So she has experience with period pieces, different period.
Yes,
different period, but
she's kind of an acting noble as well, because I looked up her parents. Her parents are Jim Carter. You will know him as Mr. Carson, the butler from Downton Abbey. That's her dad.
That is funny. Okay. Yeah.
Her mother, it gets better. Her mother is Imelda Staunton.
Oh, wow.
Yes. They both of them had long, successful careers. And it's unfair to pin Imelda Staunton down on this one role, but she is Dolores Umbridge in the Harry Potter movies. And she nailed this character. So when I hear her name, I see her as Dolores Umbridge with the ugly kittens. So these are her parents.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yes.
So, but Bessie Carter herself, she went to Guildhall School of Music and Drama. She did lots of theatre. But from the main cast, from the sisters cast, she is the most experienced actor.
Yeah. Yes. And she's also the one who's sort of, and like we'll see that in the trailer and teaser already. She's the narrator, basically. Sort of Nancy, the character Nancy, kind of guides us a little bit through the whole story of her other siblings and sisters.
Pam is played by Isabel Jasper Jones. She had a tiny part in this latest Hunger Games movie, Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, which I have not seen. And she didn't do that, nothing big. Diana is played by Joanna Vanderham. She did a show, The Runaway, on Sky TV. She did a show, Young James Harriet, and she had a recurring role in the DC series, Legend of Tomorrow. She also did lots of theatre work. But I have not seen any of these. I'm not a DC fan person. But she has many credits. I just have not seen.
She's also in another Britbox original. Like it's called Irvine Welsh's Crime, and that must have So some people might know her from there. I met her yesterday. We took a selfie. She's very, very sweet. And like she kind of almost carried on the whole Diana character like onto the stage when like not from her personality, but sort of like the outfit and the her hair and everything. Like she looked like very much like Diana yesterday.
I think it's interesting that you say she was. What did she say? She was funny.
Yeah.
Or she was. Yeah, because the character that she plays, and you see this in the trailer as well, is very cold, and not funny. And I've seen the selfie of the two and you together. She looks very icy because she has the hair and the outfit of the Diana character, and this is not funny. This is not a funny person. So Decca and Unity are both played by newcomers. Decca is played by Zoe Bro, I think it's pronounced, and Unity is played by Shannon Watson. From what I've read in other sources is that Shannon Watson especially was pointed out to bringing a very stellar performance as Unity.
I met her yesterday as well. She's she's very sweet as well. Yeah. They all, the cast and crew seemed like all very, very sweet. Sort of like they were all really thrilled about the whole project. Yeah, and like there was a lot of passion coming through for just telling that interesting story.
Debo is played by Ola Hill. She's only 23, but she was a child actor since she was 10. So she has, after Bessie Carter, I think, the most acting experience. And she did acting jobs all her life. But what I found interesting is she's currently graduating from Cambridge University with a master in engineering.
Ooh.
You did not see that coming, did you?
No. No.
She's employed as a researcher at Cambridge Centre for Climate Repair.
Right. That
impressed.
Sounds amazing. That sounds really great. Yeah. Wow.
So she did all that while also doing acting as a side hustle. I think that's very interesting. She must be very great. So then Tom is played by Toby Wegbo. He did a lot of acting since he was a child as well. Most notably, he played young Albus Dumbledore in the Harry Potter movies.
Interesting.
So, who do we have left? Oswald Mosley is played by Joshua Sassy. I don't know him. He was in the English stage production of Mamma Mia in the West End.
Ah, okay. So he knows. He can sing, I'm guessing.
Yeah. I guess. And trivia. He once was the boyfriend of Kylie Minogue. I think that's so random.
Yes.
It was on his Wikipedia page.
That is okay. Hang on. He's born. I'm just seeing. He's born 1987. How old is Kylie? Like he's 37. How?
Yeah, she's
old is
older.
Kylie? Okay.
She's been around for a long time.
Okay.
But she started young. She started as a teenager.
Fair enough.
So, yeah.
He reminds me. So Joshua Sassy. I'm not 100% sure. It reminds me a bit of like looking at him. He looks a bit like Henry Cavill.
Oh, I get what you mean.
Yeah. He's got that sort of, I don't know, Supermanish, Witchermanish face.
Maybe they couldn't afford Henry Cavill. bit unfair, but whether he has looks, I mean, I know what, because they wanted something to be smitten, you know, wanted to, as the audience should look at him and understand why Diana falls for him and leaves her life for him. So, and another name popped up on the cast sheet that I do not know from any work, but from the name, because Will Attenborough. Is it a coincidence? No. He is the grandnephew of Sir David Attenborough. Yeah. And he is listed to portray a character named Jess. I have no idea who that is supposed to be. I do not remember a remarkable Jess character in the story. But we will see. He's listed to appear in all of the 6 episodes.
If he's the nephew of David Attenborough, that means he's probably the son of
grandnephew.
Then he's sort of like the grandchild of Richard Attenborough, the actor.
Exactly.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Good. Yes.
So, and we also have actors named for the characters of Peter Rudd, Nancy's husband, and Hamish Erskine, the kind of secret fiance that Nancy has before she gets married. We know that these characters will come up.
Hamish is already kind of like quite a presence in the very first episode. I can tell you that.
Okay.
I'm trying to figure out like who Joss was, and if I had seen him in the first episode, I don't remember. To be fair, yeah. Hamish was there. Tom was there. Yeah.
This is the cast. Should we go on to the trailer?
Yes. So,
have you seen the teaser as well?
Maybe one last word about the cast. Like, I think this is something like you and I kind of discussed a bit earlier before recording. It seems like they are going for a lot of new talent cast here. A lot of people who they have some names that people would recognize, and like some people with experience as well. But like they're also going for some newer talents, which is nice. Like I think I quite like it.
It is nice. And I also think it is practical because the Mitfords were young. 1931, it means Diana was 21. So they needed younger actors. Yeah. So, they tend to be not as famous, of course.
Yeah.
So, can we put the links to the teaser and the trailer in the show notes?
Will do.
So have you have watched both, have you? Good. Which ones shall we start with? Probably the teaser because it's shorter.
The teaser first, yes. Yeah, and I might get a bit confused between the two of them.
Okay. So that teaser, what I found remarkable in just the optics of it was that it has a home video style. It looks like it's filmed with a 1980s camcorder a bit, and there are it has the style of, private photographs taken. It's a very different optical style than the full-length trailer, which we will also discuss. So what the teaser gives us is, it tells us it's a story of 6 sisters. It's a true story. What is immediately clear is that it's told from Nancy's perspective, which makes sense because she's a narrator, and that was her role in real life. She narrated not only her family's life, but also the life of the high society of London. That was her job in the columns and her novels. So they apparently chose to make her the narrator of the show. This is what it looks like.
Remind me again, like she wrote the book, like she also wrote a book about her family, like called Hans and Rebels. Was that the one where she sort of talked?
No, Hans and Rebels is the biography of Decker. Nancy wrote several novels about her family. She didn't use the real names, and she merged some people, but like her real father David will come up in the novels as Uncle Matthew. And you can pretty much pinpoint which character in the novel is which real character. But she pretty much wrote about her family. This was understood in her time. This is not something that researchers later said, that people in her time said, oh yeah, this is this aunt. Yeah, cool. So
it was basically like what social media is today.
Because people always loved gossip.
Yes.
And they always loved gossip of the high society. Nancy was a part of that.
What is interesting as well is that Bridgerton is told in a similar way. If you think about it, like it just occurred to me, because in Bridgerton, you have a narrator as well. Like, she's not very present. Like, the person, whoever it is, very mysterious, who writes the gossipy the columns in the newspaper that everybody consumes. It's like, and like this is Nancy has a similar role. Like, Nancy also wrote columns for like Vanity and like the magazines of that her dad was running and that her grandfather owned. So she was a columnist, and she also was known for taking a funny approach to all of it, and sort of like being witty and but also sort of taking a bit the piss sometimes of some of the
that
people.
was pretty much her brand, being witty.
So it makes her very apt narrator in that sense, but a good parallel to Bridgerton.
Then in the teaser we have a quick rundown narrated by Nancy of the sisters, and she says Diana is the most beautiful and the most dangerous. And we see Diana in her, with her cold look and a cocktail glass. I think every time we see Diana in the teaser, she's wearing a cocktail glass. I don't know if she drank so much, but this is the way she was presented. So then we have Debo, and Nancy says she was born to be a duchess. What did you also think that Debo doesn't look young? She must have been, when they start 1931, Debo would have been like, I'm not exactly sure, but she was maybe 8 or 10 years old. She is much older than this.
I thought that yesterday, yeah.
So I just said the actress is 23. Maybe they change it a bit, maybe they make her a little bit older because it fits the story better. That is possible.
Yeah, I have the feeling that's what they're going for. Yeah, because otherwise, like you just have that lost child running around, which could have been funny in a different way, but yeah.
Which is pretty much what happened. She was alone a lot at this time because everyone was out already. But in the teaser, they show her playing with little horse figurines, and you would expect this from a much younger child than the person that you see.
Yeah, good.
So I just found this a little odd.
Yeah.
So then we see Jessica, and she's characterized as every story needs a rebel. And that is all that we get. We do not get any, I would have expected any communist symbols. Anything red or something. But we do not get any more hints about what kind of rebel she's supposed to. So if you don't know already, the teaser doesn't give it away. Then Pam, she's the adventurer. She looks very butch. So she has the short hair, she wears a sweater vest, she's definitely queer-coded. So we will see. There's more of her in the trailer.
That struck me as well, actually. Sort of like, they had like in front of the like in one of the rooms in front of the cinema, they had a little exhibition with paintings of all 6 sisters, like modern paintings of the actual actress playing that like in her character, right? And and Pam comes across that way as well, like as a very kind of not just as a tomboy, but like as a like very much male or like male-ish character, which I don't think she was. And like what is striking then in the first episode, like you see her wearing a dress, and like I was struck a bit by it, and it was like, oh yeah, that is her. Yeah. Because she was so female all of a sudden.
Yeah. So we will talk a bit more about her when we talk about the trailer in a minute. And then Unity is the last one to be presented, and she's characterized as the most extreme. And then they show the pistol.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
So this is very hinting at. I mean, we do not see a swastika or anything. It's just the pistol. And extreme could mean anything at this point. So, and then there's Nancy, and she says me. And we see her with a typewriter. She's the one telling the story. Tom does not appear in the teaser.
Yeah, I mean, it is a story about the 6 sisters. They are the ones also who are on the poster. Yeah. Tom is not really.
But Tom shows. I mean, Tom is in the story, and in the trailer opens with "We are 7 siblings." So they chose to tell it differently in the trailer than the teaser.
Yeah. Fair enough. Yeah.
So what did you think? What did you think about the teaser? What was your impression?
Yeah, I was probably most struck by the style of it as well. Yeah. And I mean like it does end on the pistol, like, which sort of is a mini cliffhanger, like kind of gives you like an intense moment, like where you're just intrigued and like you want to know more, which is exactly what you want to do with the teaser. You want to tease and be like, ta-da! Like, get people to watch more.
I found that because we see Nancy the most in the teaser, and I think she looks very, very, very much like the real Nancy. Bessie Carter was a very good choice from the optics alone, from her face and how they did the hair, and I think all the sisters, except for the very butch take on Pam, they caught the character, that the personality of each sister from the visual appearance. That's what I took away.
Yes, I agree. And like having watched the first episode, like it kind of they keep exactly that, which is really, really nice.
That's good to hear.
Yeah.
Because you could mess this up really, really bad. Did you have anything else to say about the teaser? Shall we move on?
Let's move on to the trailer.
Okay, the trailer is much different in style. It is very glossy, I thought, and it's what is presented is a very elegant, very high society, upper class scene where all the siblings are around a swimming pool at their estate, and they are goofing around at the swimming pool.
Yes.
So this is very glossy, very high-end, high production value.
When I saw these shots, I thought like, ooh, this is Vanity Fair, and like all these magazines, like it kind of that glossy look. And they are in there, like you see a
the hoop. The hoop.
Yes, you see a hoop, like and they're playing around with the hoop. And then one of them runs into one of the staff members as a kind of butler or something, and the cutlery kind of falls down and clutters around, and they're all laughing. You see Diana laughing as well, and smiling.
Mm.
It's like she does get a swift, warm moment.
Yeah, the trailer again is narrated by Nancy. She speaks directly into the camera, and she mentions 7 children. So Tom is not entirely left out, like in the teaser. And she says something along the line of, how did we as 7 siblings turn out so differently? So the whole theme of the trailer is family. It's very much centered on the family.
And it's like, I feel it's a fantastic start for a trailer to sort of like have that, like again, like it's intriguing again to sort of have something like yeah, we are 7 siblings and like we are so differently. How did it happen? And then like you ask a kind of question, you know, like as the audience, like you're pulled in by that.
Yeah. So then the next thing we see is that the family is rooted in its history. That the estate goes back hundreds of years. We see the estate. They're taking a very formal family picture. We see some dances, modest balls, family breakfast. We see Farf saying, "Oh, school is not for girls," and the sisters are being very silly around the breakfast table. So at one hand we have like this, you learn that there is the pedigree, so to speak.
They're proper
we have the
part.
big estate. The family goes back a long time.
They're proper part of the
and
establishment.
then you see them.
Like they are established as
and then
establishment.
And then we see them at the breakfast table in their not in this high society clothing, in very, very normal, comforty outfits around the breakfast table, behaving like a normal family. So, and they're being very silly all the time. Yes. So,
yeah. There's an interesting scenes like that breakfast table scene. I'm not sure if it's the exact, it's probably the exact same one in episode 1. So here's a little bite of it already. What happens is that Farv, David Mitford, the father, he is cutting the allowances of his daughters because they don't have enough money. So you kind of what is interesting about that is that in the first episode they kind of already established that they don't have heaps of money. They are wealthy, but actually kind of not really. And then there's a scene also between the parents, between Sydney and David, discussing it and discussing their well, not really discussing, but it's hinting towards the fact that the family had financial problems.
Yeah. So we know that this finances have always been difficult in the family. Personally, when rich people talk about not being rich enough, I find it super annoying, which is okay to find characters annoying in a show. What it reminded me of was there is a scene in The Crown. I think it was not the last season, it was the one before that, where the Queen kind of goes back and forth with the Prime Minister about the repairs of her yacht, and she basically says the government should pay for the repair of my yacht because I don't have any money. And this goes back and forth over several episodes, and he's always like, no, the government doesn't have money, and she's like, yeah, but it's a lot of repairs and I have not enough money. And when you watch it, you're like, you are the richest, you are literally the richest woman in the country. Are we supposed to feel sorry for you because your yacht needs new paint? It sets a certain tone, and I have no idea if this really is what happened. I have no idea. But as a normal person, when you hear rich people talking about, I do not have enough paint for my yacht, and I'm not as rich as I used to be, I find it super annoying because you're all fucking snobs.
Yes. There's. And I feel like a lot of our listeners probably understand that. The empathy in that moment just doesn't really go that far.
Yeah, but of course this is, it was written that way.
Yeah.
This is what, this is on purpose. What we also see in the trailer shortly after is a kind of argument between Unity and Decker, where Unity says, oh no, communism is, well, never, I will never support that. And Decker says something along the lines of, well, we have to end inherited wealth. This is the only way we will have progress. So this very much contradicts what this whole inheritance, and the estate goes back hundreds of years, and we already see that Decker has a different perspective on all of these things.
Yeah, and that it's getting political, and like it's something like we haven't had in the teaser. Yeah, that like there's like those big ideologies of the time from 100 years ago, like they're already set up there in those two sisters, as it was.
So
what is
a quick
interesting as well? Sorry, like if I go back to like that whole scene on the breakfast table with the parents. So that what is striking is that there's 5 daughters sitting, of the 7 children they had. Tom, the only son, he isn't sitting there, of course, because he's in Eton, going to school there, the only one getting an education. And then the other member of the family missing is Diana, who is already married at the time to Brian Guinness. And I mean, Diana wanted to get out of this, basically. She wanted to get out of that clustering, clucking together family kind of being too intense. And so her out was marrying Brian Guinness. And so like that's why we have all the other 5 siblings, or like 5 sisters who are all not married yet. Like they're at the breakfast table together with the 2 parents.
What we see next after this breakfast scene is Diana entering the headquarters of the British Fascist Union. It is then there are many small snippets of Diana's the most hated woman in Britain. We see Oswald fencing. We see Diana being cockstruck when she watches him. She's like, oh my god, this man, he's so tasty, I need to have him. And then we see Di introducing Unity into fascism, and she invites her to come to Germany with her. And Unity being among British fascists and being totally mesmerized and totally like, my god, this is my true home. This is paradise. So many fascists, they are just like me. So this is not what, this is not how it really happened, I think. But again, we see Diana a lot here. We see a lot of British fascists in here. What we do not see are German Nazis. We do not see Germany. We do not see swastika flags. But again, this is 1931. So none of the sisters is in Germany at this point. And it makes total sense to not show the Nazis. They will have to show Nazis and Adolf Hitler later in some later episodes or second season or whatever, because you cannot tell the story without that. But this is not what we get from the trailer. In the trailer, there is no German content.
Remind me again, like when did Unity and or Diana, like when did they first go to Germany to meet some of those Nazis, or like to start the German language class, so she could talk to.
They were at the Nuremberg Rally in 1933, and I think that's just let me quickly look it up. They went to the Nuremberg Rally again in 1934. I think this is when it really started off. 1934, Unity arrives in Munich and she goes to language school in the Kaulbachstraße.
Yeah, and like, of course, we know Kaulbachstraße very well in Munich, because that's where the university is and that's where we studied. And it's a nice place.
We used to be there.
I really like going there. Yeah.
So yeah, this is 1934. This show starts out in 1931. We will have time to develop into this. So then, this is pretty much. Let me check.
One
No, this is not all.
one quick word on the Nuremberg rally. Yeah, like so the rallies, the Nazi party rallies were held there from 1933 onwards, and I've been there to those grounds, and like most of it was destroyed then during World War II, of course, but like there are still certain parts of the buildings, or like relics, if you wish, that are still standing, and like you see the whole fascist architecture and everything. And I was there for a music festival long time ago, but yes, so like some of it is still there.
Yeah, it was a huge one.
Yes.
I mean, there were like, I don't know, hundreds of
Yes,
thousands
yes.
of people back in the day. So the whole back to the trailer. There is the tone at this point in the trailer is a bit like, oh, we are independent women, we can do whatever we like. There are several lines. Diana says things like, oh, don't tell me what to do, don't tell me who I am. So this is very, oh, I'm an independent woman kind of vibe. I hope they don't go for this girl boss, top boss for the whole series, because that is not how the sisters saw themselves. This is more than interpretation, and I hope that this is not how they will approach the whole series. This is one of my main
Concerns.
Main fears about concerns about this, that they will try to pull over modern independent woman like a sweater over these characters who very, very much saw themselves not like this. I mean, this was just outside of their perspective in the time. So I think that would be very forced. And it's a thin line to celebrate an independent woman and to celebrate a woman who supports fascism. Like, you can, you can not support a woman that supports fascism and Nazis and anti-Semitism. You can make this character relatable for the audience, but you cannot celebrate the outcomes of her action.
Yeah. Yes, I completely
and
agree.
This is a line. It's dangerous. It's dangerous to push into this direction too much.
From the first episode, that was not something I got really. It's sort of, like I see how you say, like after the trailer, it's a little bit, but like that's not. Yeah, like it's an element that kind of like is underlying, like that, like they're just looking for, they are six sisters who are looking like how to navigate life. Like that's what I got from episode 1. Okay. And like that they're setting certain priorities sometimes, like they're going for something, even though, especially with Diana, for example, like she's going for Oswald Mosley. Even though like she leaves her nice cushioned life behind, and like that was like a severe, like a life-changing decision. Yeah,
it was a social suicide.
Yes, and we see that scene actually where she makes that decision at the end of episode 1.
Okay, so I think it is doable to show this, but the trailer very much puts emphasis on this, we are independent and we can make our own choices, and this pops up several times, so I started being concerned about this. Yeah,
which I completely get, yes.
Yeah, so then Pam, she was shown in the teaser as being the adventurer. In the trailer we see her getting in a car and driving through Europe, or like making plans about driving through Europe in a car on her own, and saying, why should I not do this? So we do not see her husband. We do not see her previous engagement, several suitors, things that really happened, but maybe happened later. And also the characters we would need for this are not on the cast sheet. So apparently they go for this adventure with, she's driving around in a car on her own on the continent storyline, which is something that she did, but very, very little is known about this. Pam was by far the most private sister, and we know some things, but we do not nearly know as much about her than the other sisters.
Maybe just quickly for our listeners, like Pam is usually considered the boring one, or like you, Lynn, you called her like the boring lesbian, while I call her
the boring bisexual.
The boring bisexual, yes, of course. While I call her the poultry connoisseur.
So apparently, they're going with the butch car lover story.
Could I quickly check something with you? Sorry, when was she already married by 1931, Pam? Nancy. So she.
No, she was not.
She doesn't look married in the first episode.
No.
And Nancy, like in that first episode, is very much kind of like, she says a phrase saying like, I'm 28 years old and I'm still not married and I'm still a virgin. And she kind of draws up that problematic picture.
Yeah. So no, Pam is not married in this time, and also her husband's name does not show up in the character sheet. So he does not show up in the first 6 episodes at least. So what I found strange is that they're really, really pushing hard from all the pictures I've seen to paint her as like the butch sister, and that's not how she was. She did have suitors, and the marriage was not a success and so on, but she mostly lived in the country with her chickens and her dogs and her horses. And then it was later in life that she had a long-term relationship with a woman. That is the only thing we know. We know the name of this woman and that they were in a relationship. And this is everything we know. We do not know anything beyond this. So it's a bit... I mean, I would have done the same if it was my screenplay. To give her an arc and to give her some drama and a motif for actions in her life. I would also painted her this way, but not as much, because she looks like she just walked straight into a lesbian bar in 1990. And I don't think she would have looked that way. No woman would have looked that way. And well, also Pam is not the good one. She was also widely anti-Semitic. And well, we'll see if it will come up in the show. I hope they will not leave it out.
Yeah. From the first episode of the series, it seems like, I mean, the main characters in that first episode are Nancy, Diana, and to a certain degree Unity, because it's Unity's coming out into society, like Unity's debutante year, and like that is also something that is sort of like sort of the main, like, I don't know, social focus of that episode in a way, but like then there's a lot of distractions because of Diana.
Overall, I liked the trailer. I thought it had great production value. I liked the dynamics between the sisters as far as we've seen it. And it makes me very excited to see the whole thing. So I'm very, very pumped. And I cannot wait to see the first episode. And I'm a little envious that you have seen it already, and you will tell us about it in a moment. Before you do, how did you receive the trailer?
Very similar. Yes, yeah. That it's a period drama, and it looks glossy and sleek, and like it has all like the costumes and the sets and everything like of that era, and like that's already something. I mean, like I was talking to some other guests of the London premiere yesterday as well. Like it's the 1920s and 30s are an interesting time, you know, like the in between war times. They're just interesting, like from a cultural perspective, and sort of like going back there like to the Roaring '20s, and then like the series is outrageous is about the '30s, but it's sort of like in that broader cultural setting from that time, which is very appealing to a lot of people. It also like another guest also said to me yesterday that the series Outrageous sort of like fills a gap that was almost left, because we've had in the UK at least, like we've had Downton Abbey as a series, and then we had The Crown, obviously, which was like even more international, about the Queen and the British Crown, and then we have Bridgerton in a certain way as well, which is different era, but like still aristocrats and like the whole getting a duke.
Yeah, and Bridgerton really
like being a lady coming out in society.
And
the bright
Bridgerton
young
really
things.
took the whole world by storm. I think when it came out, it was the most watched show Netflix has ever had at this point.
Yes, yeah, and I mean, like, yeah, they were all. So that has all ended. Well, or Bridgerton is still on, but yeah, and like there's a bit of a gap left. I had the feeling. From what I've heard, and like now this is coming in Outrageous, and I mean what is great about it as well is that sort of like from a British point of view, like they are looking at their fascists, like at their at their nobility in a way as well, that like is like you always have characters also in Downton Abbey and then in The Crown, like where the characters are obviously complex, you know, they're not just like the good guys or just the evil guys, you know, like, but it's like it's sort of coming a bit to terms with that side that nobody has looked at so far, like in this public way.
Yeah.
So that's interesting, like something a lot of British people yesterday at the London premiere said like it is about time to do that, to look at that, like they've all learned about Oswald Mosley at school, but like it's never been something like it's never really been a focus or like something they've known too much about. They might have heard of like the fight on Cable Street, which is where I live, kind of like very, very closely in London's East End, which was a rally of the British Fascist Union in, was it 1938 or 39, something?
Yeah, around that time.
That went really, really badly people got, were...
heavily injured.
Yes,
yeah.
Yes. And it was a mass protest. But like they a lot of people like have heard of it, but like they don't know too much about it. They don't know too much about that chapter.
What else are the key takeaways from the London premiere yesterday?
That the cast and crew are super excited about it, and like they learned a lot as well. It's like from the Q&A, they said like they had a chat group and they were like, oh, did you know this? Did you know that? Like about the different characters, you know, like the different like bits and bobs of the stories. So like they were all really excited to learn about that and share that with each other, and like learning like those sometimes hilarious bits and pieces where you just go like, whoa. Sometimes like those very, very dark bits and historical facts about the family. yes, like that was one of the main takeaways, that they enjoyed that and like are really passionate about it and fascinated by it. And I mean, it is a fascinating family saga in a way. That is also what they coined it as. So like when they introduced the screen, or like at the introduction of the screening, the lady who did the introduction, she coined it as a family saga. So like, and that goes back, Lynn, to what you were saying about, well, it's that it looks very, very much centered around the family dynamics and the relationships within
it's
the
also,
family. And that is
the title of the book, The Saga of the Mitford Family. So
the subtitle, yeah.
The subtitle.
Yeah. And I mean, like that's what comes across also, like in the first episode. Yeah. And it's you see like certain dynamics between certain sisters. I mean, like it's a lot of people, it's a lot of characters. You need to sort of, put a tab on and like kind of keep track of a lot of family. Yeah, like because they all have their own story arc, right? So, like you need to sort of. It's a challenge to make that succinct and like present it to people without the audience getting lost in it.
I think let me just shortly interrupt you here. It is very good that many people in the audience will have seen Game of Thrones, which really raised the bar when it comes to how many characters can you remember as an audience member, how many can you name, and how complex can characters be, because before Game of Thrones you had complex characters, but we had 100 of them in Game of Thrones, and they kind of stepped up the game of what you can do with a wide cast of characters in terms of complexity and quantity. So this is so that for the outrageous, they can build on that the audience is used to dealing with complexity and a wide array of people, which was very different 20 years ago.
Yeah, yes, that is a really great comparison. Yeah, and one that I didn't see coming. But yeah, like it's exactly as you say. Like it's a great one. Yeah. So, but yes, like in this first episode, like we got bits and pieces of like the relationships between some of the siblings. So like we see Unity and Decca like in that playful fight, like where they are kind of fighting against each other like in a half militarist way, and the mother comes in and is exasperated because of the state of the room. Her daughter's doing who knows what. We get a bit of a glance, as I mentioned before, of the dynamic between Sydney, the mother, and David, the father, like where Sydney kind of says, well, David's doing the accounts, and she's like, should I take a look? Do you need any help? And David is like, no, all fine. We have the scene at the breakfast table, and then that is the scene where the mother, like the scene which we see in the trailer as well, where the mother, like where it gets clear that Unity got sent to school, but like that didn't go so well. And then the mother says in the trailer, she wasn't expelled from school. We were invited to take her back.
That's one way to put it.
Yes, and like that also, like that's a great scene, this is the tonality of this episode and probably what they're trying to do throughout the entire series. I feel it's like to have that humorous note in it as well. Like it is, they coin it as a family saga and a drama, but it's witty, it's humorous. The Mitford sisters themselves didn't take themselves too seriously all the time. Nancy has this take on her siblings, herself, and the society they grow up in and they live in, to sort of, like that, to distance themselves and like not always take it too seriously, a bit with tongue in cheek. And that, like, it's great they're doing that in the series as well. Not always, like there are more dramatic moments in it, of course, but then like it's a nice, good balance. I felt in that very first episode they had. You then have the coming out, like the moment where Unity comes out as a debutante, and there's sort of, you get the feeling that she hates all of it, and then Diana takes her by the side and is like, yes, this is all nuts. And then Unity opens her little bag and like she kind of grabbed some food items from the buffet, and then she has a rat in her little bag. One of her rats. They all had a lot of pets. The amount of pets doesn't get through, but like I feel that would have just been an overload of the series probably. But like you do get bits and pieces of the frivolity of them, and like their quirkiness, their weirdness, if you wish. And Unity opens up the little bag and like the rat crawls out and like starts nibbling away at like some of the tarts that were served at the buffet, while Diana is sitting there, like, you know, the kind of sleek, cold Diana who doesn't smile in photos, but then sits there and doesn't seem to know, or like not notice in a bad way that there's a rat. It's like the most normal thing. Of course, there's a rat in Unity's bag, a pet rat. I should add, it's a pet rat. Yes, like we have that little moment between the sisters. We have a little moment between Pam and Nancy as well, during a social event or ball or something. So the feeling I had again like was that it is a drama, and like they're telling all these different strands, and like how, like what different paths they chose for themselves, like that's the thing. But like how they're still caring for each other, like that. Yeah, that's something that seeps through the series. I feel, at least through the first episode, that they are still sort of like loving each other and care for each other. Like they're rather like love-hate relationships, but they're siblings. That was the takeaway from me.
So we will go into more depth in the next episode, where we do a recap of the first episode together. Do you have any more takeaways from the London event specifically? Like, what did they say anything that was surprising to you on stage, for example?
There were a couple. Yes, yeah, of course. So one of the things like that I can say already is, so this first season of Outrageous will cover everything up to 1936, and then the other two, like they haven't really said like how, like, and there will be 3 seasons of Outrageous. I don't know like up to what point they go. If they go and like, they might be covering the entire World War. They might be, or like World War II. They might be going to later. I don't know. I would imagine like it'll cover the war times, and then a bit after that probably. What was interesting, so the writer Sarah Williams was on stage, and she said that she had read the book that you have there, The Sisters, pretty much when it came out, when it was published about 20 years ago, and that she had started writing like a concept and a treatment for this kind of series back then already, because she was so intrigued by it. And like the words she used were like, she was asked like, why did you choose to write a screenplay about this and like push this forward? And she was like, well, it's got everything in it. There's love, there's hate, family relations, divorces, marriages, affair, like everything, prison. And that's what's so intriguing. And like those complex characters who choose very different paths. But yeah, she was carrying this little project around for 20 years and like put it in front of people and pitched it, and was like she was pitching something, and then she was like, well, I also have this, and they were like, nah. And she did this over 20 years. And yeah, it was finally the right moment and it got picked up.
Determination is key.
Yeah, the zeitgeist is ready for it seems. Which again, like might actually be what those other people I spoke to meant when they said, well, there was Downton Abbey, The Crown, Bridgerton, and like now there's a bit of a gap and a hole, and yeah, this is fitting in nicely. This time Downton Abbey, but with fascists.
Yeah. So did you? Because I'm looking at the time, and we almost run out of time. Do you have a little? Did you get a little something yesterday?
Let me throw in. Yes. Oh, let me throw in 3 more nuggets. Okay. One of the people on the stage was Matthew Mosley, and like that name, of course, when we all saw it, we were like, oh, like because it is the same name as Oswald Mosley, who was famously the leader of the British fascist party back then, at the Mitford's time, and turns out, like I asked, like he didn't get introduced like that, but I asked some of the cast and crew after the screening if he's related to Oswald Mosley. Turns out he is, but like the project fell on him. Like he didn't know anything about it. He didn't push it. It seems that he's just working for the production company that sort of got it, like that took on the project, and then they were like, well, Mosley. I've read the name Mosley. We have a Mosley. It seems that it seems it's just like fell into his lap in a way, and he was
so
like,
he works
well,
in production. This is his job,
yes.
And then this came to, wow, this is
yes.
They really are connected to everything, are they not?
And he's I'm not entirely sure anymore if he's the great-grandson or the great-grandnephew, but yes, like he is very much related.
The Mosleys, the Mosleys are very much into like bringing the family story in our times, because there's a Charlotte Mosley who edited the letters. This is this is a work in progress. This is an edition of the letters between the 6 sisters, and Charlotte Mosley edited them. I cannot remember from the top of my head who she is. I think she's not the granddaughter, she's the grandniece of Diana, I think. But I will look it up when we get into the letters, which we will do later in the series. But yeah, the Mosley offspring are very diverse. They took very interesting paths in life. We will cover this too.
Just like the Mitfords.
Yeah. So another nugget.
The other nugget is I asked about Adolf Hitler and like who's playing Adolf Hitler, because he's famously missing from the cast list.
Yes.
Like I've checked again, and there isn't anyone. And the response I got from the cast and crew yesterday night was, well, there is somebody who's playing Adolf Hitler. It's this guy from Sussex. That is literally what she said to me. It's this guy from Sussex. I don't even know if if he's got a speaking part or not. But she said like the focus is not on Adolf Hitler. He will show up. There will be glimpses and bits and pieces of him here and there. But like they very consciously didn't want to put Adolf Hitler in focus of this. The focus should be on the family and the sisters. And yeah, Adolf Hitler is this guy from Sussex.
Okay, 2 weird things. Random guy from Sussex. Okay.
Sussex
I find it very surprising to show only a little bit of him, because he was a major part in Unity's life. And to show only a little bit, maybe they can pull it off. My first thought is, I don't know, it's weird. I would not have done like that. But let's see how they played out. I'm open.
Yeah, they could have also also easily cast someone from Germany. I feel like who would then have spoken in German, and then I mean, okay, fair enough. Like the actors would have had to learn a little bit of German, you know. Like, but having an accent would have been fine in that case, because like that's probably what the Mitfords had anyways. I was quite surprised by that as well. Yeah. For our international listeners, also like Sussex is a county of England in the south. Yeah. Sort of like close to London.
Yeah. So I think you also got a little something to take home.
Yes. So at the screening, because it was the London premiere, we got that.
And what is it?
Which has a cover of the poster.
What's in it? A golden swastika
and it is, it is a little praline box, and I'm afraid to say, like it's already empty.
Oh.
They were delicious. They were really good. Very, very nice. Yeah,
but
I had them yesterday at the screening.
It's 4.
And it's 4. Yes, it's 4 pralines.
Because I would have expected 6, 1 for each sister. And to make them according to the characters. That would have been cool. No, you have like a white one, a very, very delicate one for Diana, and you have,
of course,
a brutal one with a swastika for Unity. Imagine this. Have you ever had a swastika praline? I did not.
No, but like I imagine the poor person from the production team who has to go to like a chocolatier, you know, a company, be like, excuse me. Could you please come up with a swastika chocolate?
I need bespoke pralines.
And please also come up with a taste for it.
Yeah. It would have been exceptional.
Very. Yeah, so this is the little takeaway.
They gave you, so I take away, they gave you chocolate and you ate it all straight away on your way home. You did not leave anything to me.
No, I ate it during the screening, of course.
Okay.
That was the intention of it. I did exactly that. I enjoyed it while watching all of them.
So, let's wrap it up because we have run out of time.
So the very last thing I'll say is, like, after watching the first episode yesterday night, I'm excited to see more. I'm genuinely excited, and like they did a fantastic, great job. Like big congratulations to the team already, to cast and crew. I didn't have any major complaints. On the contrary, I thought they did a really, really fantastic job with it so far for episode 1, and I'm excited. I would have loved to sort of binge watch it all with more chocolates, ideally. But I'm excited to see the other 5 episodes of this first season.
Now that's a great setup for our next episode, which will be a recap of the first episode. We will watch it and then we will talk about it and give you all the information, all the what's what and who's who, and that is our plan for the next episode. So until then,
the next episode is a comparison, reality versus fiction. So Lynn and I will both watch the first episode of Outrageous. I'll watch it again, and then we'll discuss it and talk about it and record all of that for you. And then you'll get it before the second episode of Outrageous drops.
Exactly. So thank you for joining us. And see you again next time.
Thank you so much. So great having you with us. Yeah, see you again soon.
Bye.
Bye-bye.